Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Disu and you're watching Data Science with Disu. So this is the fourth session of NumPy tutorial and I promise that this is the last session for this tutorial. Actually मैंने plan किया था that it should be ended in 3 sessions, but then I thought that this NumPy library is since very important, so I should clear out all the concepts and continue to the fourth session. Now if you haven't watched the all previous 3 sessions, you can definitely check out here. So till now we have seen a lot of things in NumPy library, like what is NumPy library, then how we can use it, how we can create NumPy array, then what are the different array attributes, then what are the different method of manipulating an array, and we have also seen how we can slice an array. So in this session we are moving forward with some more array manipulation methods. So before starting this video, make sure you hit the like button so that it reach out to the more people like you and motivate me to upload the sessions regularly. Cool, so let's begin with the first array manipulation, that is called np.insert. So it is used to insert an items in an array. So if you have an array that is already defined but you want to insert some extra element, let's say by mistake you have forgotten some elements to be inserted there, but now you want to edit that, you want to insert more elements to the existing array, so you can use that np.insert method. Then you have dot append. So what is that thing, dot append? It is also used to append items to an array. So you have already seen that in list. Actually, what is dot append? To insert some elements in a list, we use dot append. Now you might be thinking that what is the difference between insert and append then? So yes, I'll be clearing out that doubt in a few minutes, so just wait. And then we have np.delete. So it is used to delete an item from an array. So you might be having some elements in array that you want to delete, by mistake and you had inserted that. So how you can delete that? Using dot delete. Then np.unique. So to get unique items from an array. So if you have an array and you want that what are the unique items, that means there might be some elements that are repeating. So you want what is the exactly unique items you have in that array, so you can use dot unique for that purpose. So let's start looking each of them one by one. So first is what? np.insert. So what is np.insert? As I've already said that insert is used to insert an element. So first of all, let's say you have already some array. Let's say you might have 1D array, you might have 2D array also, you might have a 3D array also. So how you can insert an element in each of them? Now if I generally ask you, you want to insert an element to that 1D array, so आपके दिमाग में क्या आएगा? Like अगर वो element आप add करना चाहते हो उस array में, so where you want to actually add that? It might be the some position ना, कि आप शुरू में ऐड करना चाहते हो, लास्ट में ऐड करना चाहते हो, किसी अदर पोजिशन पे बीच में ऐड करना चाहते हो. So that depends on you. Then the next thing is what is the value that you want to exit. Means let's say you want to add 5. So 5 is the value you want to add there. So it might be 5, 10, 15, whatever you want. So to insert an element to an array, you must have two things clear, that what is the value of the element that you want to insert and what is the position of that element that you want to insert. So दो चीज़ें बिल्कुल क्लियर होनी चाहिए that आप कहाँ और क्या insert करना चाहते हो. So to make that thing clear, we provide some of the parameters to that insert method. So let's say you have np.insert. You have here 4 parameters. First is the array itself. So whatever the array inside which you want to insert an element. Then object. So what are the actually index before which insertion is to be made. That means what is the position of that element that you want to insert. Second is the value. So what is the value of exactly what is the value of that element. And the fourth is the axis. So what is axis actually here? So for 1D, since it has only one axis, it might be not required, but when you are coming with the 2D array or 3D array, what happens? You have more than one axis. So you need to provide on which axis you want to insert that element. So let's clear out that thing with the help of some examples. So let us first import NumPy library. Then we will be defining an array. Let's say the name of array is ARR, and we have a 2D array of size 2, 3, and the elements are belonging between 1 to 20 and all are integers, since we are using np.random.randint that creates only integer element. So this is the array we have and this is the shape of array we have. Now we want to insert an element. Let's say this is the array we have. So first argument that we'll be providing is the array itself in which we want to insert the element. The second is what? The index, at which index you want to insert the element. So let's say you want to insert that element at the first index, and the value is what? This value is 200 and access is what? 1. So how that np dot insert takes that arguments? So first of all, it takes the array. So let's say this is the array it has taken. Now it started capturing the access. So first of all, we are providing access equals to 1. So what is that meaning, access equals to 1? So in 2D matrix, if you see 2D array, we have, this is the 0th axis and this is the first axis. So since we have seen first axis, that means it is going column wise. So this is 0th column, this is first column, this is the second column. So this is the axis 1. So if you provide the indexes, it will take axis wise 1. This is the 0th index, this is the first index, this is the second index. Okay, so now that the axis is clear, it will take the index. So you have seen that this is the first axis and it is taking the first index. So as I already told you that if this is the axis 1, this is the 0th index, this is the first index. So these two elements are coming at the axis 1 and the first index. So you are actually inserting an element. The value is what? The last thing is the value that it will take, that is 200. So you have seen this is the matrix you have, and what is the first index you have on the axis 1? This is the 0th axis. Then after that it will come the first axis. So between these 5, 10 and 1 and 90, one column will be inserted that is having a value of 200. So if I run that cell, you can see the result will be 5, 1, then 200, 200, then 10, 19 and 3 and 7. So you have already an array of say 2, 3. Now you have inserted an element that is 200 on the axis 1 and index 1. So these two elements are getting inserted here, and the shape of that array will be changed to what? 2, 4 now. So that was what? That was inserting along axis equals to 1. So if I just show you what is the result of adding the same element, let's say 200 along the axis equals to 0. So I have done the same thing, but I have changed the axis 1 to 0. If I run that, you can see instead of having added 2 as a column, it has added an extra row. So it was having 5, 10, 3, then 119, 7, but it has an added extra row 200, 200, 200 of the same size. That means the 3 columns you have. So as I've already told you that axis 0 is this one. So in this direction, this is the 0th index, this is the first index. So it will insert a row between those two rows. So that is why you can see extra row has been added here. Now let us look at an example with 3D array. So you have created a 3D array. Let's say the shape is 2, 3, 4 and elements between 1 to 20. So this is the resultant array we have. Now what we want? We want to insert the element 200 along the axis equals to 0. So if I just run that cell, you can see the results. It has an added extra 2D matrix along with that. So as I've already told you, axis 0 means what? That it will be actually confusing. Like for a 2D and 1D matrix, it is quite clear what are the axis 0 and axis 1. But when you comes to the 3D matrix, that is quite confusing. You can see here in the picture that it is telling that this is the axis 1, this is the axis 2, and this one is the vertical is the axis 0. But in actual, it doesn't happen. Like it might be sometimes that this is the axis 0, this is the axis 0, or this is the axis 2. So it might be changing. So how you can know that which axis is which one? Whatever the element that you are inserting it here, you can just check it here. Now if you are adding an element 200 along the axis 0, you can see what is it is. You can see what it is doing. It is adding an extra 2D layer now. So that means this is the third dimension. This is the it is taking this one as the 0th axis, because it is taking, like already there are two 2D matrices and it is creating another 2D matrix. So that is why you can see this is the another 2D matrix that it has arrayed. Initially you have only 2 layers, 2 2D array, but now you have 3 2D arrays. So that means it is taking this one as the axis 0. Now if you want to check out which is axis 1, you can just run the same command and using axis equals to 1. So you can see it is adding it here. So initially what was the array you have? This one is the array you have. Now you can see that it is adding after this one, it is adding extra row, and after again this one, it is adding an extra row. So whatever happen in one layer, it happens in all the layers. So since you have already two layers, and one thing you need to notice that whatever the insert method that you are applying, this is not in place, so it is not a in place operation. That is why if I just insert again, you can see this matrix is not getting reflected here. So this is not here, original was this one, and in this original array the elements are getting inserted like this one. Now the question is कि which one is the axis one. यहाँ पे दिख तो रहा है it has inserted extra row, but ये कहाँ insert हुआ है, like how you can know that this is axis one. So you can see if you take one layer, a single layer, you can see if you take the first layer, this one, if you take this is the this was the axis 0 na, so this was already axis 0, but now in axis 1 it is taking this one as the axis 1. Why? Because it is inserting extra row na in each of the layer. So अगर आप इस डायरेक्शन में जाओगे तभी तो इंडेक्सिंग आपका स्टार्ट होगा 0 1 2. सो एट द फर्स्ट रो यहाँ पे एक एक्स्ट्रा रो ऐड हुआ है, दैट मीन्स हियर इट हैज़ एडेड extra row. So you can see it has added an extra row here at the first index. So this was 0th index in this direction, this is the first index, so it has added. Then in the same happening in the second layer also, in the second layer this is the 0th index, and at the first index it has added extra row. Similarly if you want to check out which is the axis 2, so axis 2 बचा ही कौन सा है, like in this direction now, this is the axis 2, क्योंकि you have already know that this is the axis 0 and this is axis 1, so the left one is the axis this one, so this is the axis 2. So if you insert any element in axis 2, it will add column wise. So you can see if I just add whatever I have added 200, you can see it has added column wise. So first layer में भी आप देख लो, like it has added 200 200 200 as a single row at the first index, so 0 and first. Again in the second layer also same way, 0 and the first index, so it has added an extra column. So that is how, just by providing the axis and observing the element that where it has been added, you can understand that which is the axis 0, which is the axis 1 and which is the axis 2. But for 1D and 2D it is quite clear which is axis 1 and axis 0. So I hope that insert part is clear. So next we are moving towards append part. So what is np.append? So you have to provide array, then values, then axis. Again this is the same thing to add an element, but the difference is what? Difference is that here you are inserting actually an array. So in np.insert what we were doing, we are adding a single element now. So a single element is getting inserted here. Like yes, it is getting inserted as a whole row or as a whole column. You can see in 3D array also you can see as a whole row or as a whole column it is getting inserted, but the value is same na, like you have provided 200 value, so for each of the index it is getting inserted as a 200 only. But let's say what if you want to insert here 200 but here 300 and here 500, it might be requirement na that you want to insert another element, that you might need to insert another values at the different indexes. So for that purpose what you can do, instead of inserting a single element, you can append an array. So आप एक array ही बना लो, like if you want to add 200 300 500, आप एक array ही बना लो 200 300 500 का, वो actually 1D array हो जाएगा और आप उसे यहाँ पे append कर दो. So that is what append is actually. So there are some conditions actually in append, like it must be of same shape of as of array. So I'll be actually clearing out what is meaning of that thing, like what is the meaning of same shape of as of array. So let's say I'm importing the NumPy library, already imported, but yeah चलो फिर से कर लेते हैं. Then I'm defining an array ARR1 having a shape of 4,3 and the elements are between 1 to 10 and all are integers. So ये रहा अपना matrix, a 2D matrix, or you can say 2D array. So let's define another array that you actually want to append. That means you want to append an array na. So you have to create an array first. So let's say array2 is the array that you want to append in the original array. So the shape of the array is what? 1, 3 and the elements are 6, 12 and 12. So that is the array that you want to actually insert. So by just looking at the arrays you can see that ये actually insert कैसे होगा, like column wise तो होगा नहीं, because in a single column you are having 4 elements. So this is the 4, then again 4, then again 4, but here are only 3 elements. So where are actually 3 elements? In row wise now, if you take a single row you have 3 elements, again this in this row 3 elements. So that means this array that you want to actually append in the original array, where you can append that. So you can append that array 2 to array 1 in row wise only. And row wise only means what? यहाँ पे रो वाइज बनने का मतलब क्या हुआ, लाइक जीरो एक्सिस ना. सो फॉर 2D अरे रो वाइज का मतलब जीरो एक्सिस होता है. दिस इज द जीरोथ एक्सिस एंड दिस इज द फर्स्ट एक्सिस. सो एक्सिस इक्वल टू जीरो दैट यू नीड टू प्रोवाइड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, and this is the array that you want to append. So what is the syntax of appending that array? So you can see np dot append, okay, and then the first array in which you want to append and the second array that you want to actually append, and then you have to provide that axis. So since ये column wise तो append होगा नहीं, so you need to provide axis equals to 0, that means row wise. So if I just show you, this is the result. You can see original array was what, from here to here. Now you can see from here to here it is constant, but this array is getting inserted at the last, okay. So here is the array that is getting inserted, but now if I just change that x is 0 to x is 1, let's say what happens if I just do that. You can see that it is getting an error, no? It is having an error that all the input array dimension for the concatenation axis must match exactly, but along dimension 0 the array at index 0 has size 4 and the array at index 1 has size equals to 1. But in your array it is having only 3 elements, so that is why it won't be appended in axis equals to 1. It should be appended in only axis equals to 0. So I hope you have got that. Now I am doing I am creating another array, array 3, but the shape of that array is what, 4,7. So it is having what, 4 rows and 7 columns. Now you can see it has having 4 rows only. So 4 rows only means column wise it has only 4 rows. So in initial array, in array 1 it is having also 4 rows only. So now what I can do, if I want to append that array 3 to array 1, it is possible now in axis equals to 1. So if I just do that, you can see it will be getting inserted here. So initial array was here like up to 8 only, from here 5 7 4 8, but now these are the like, not this one actually, from 10 to 15 12 9 to here up to here it is getting inserted. You can see this one is the 2D array that is getting inserted. Now that we have understood how we can use insert and append, so you need to also know that how we can delete an array. So not just an array, the element inside an array. So if you use np.delete, you can delete some of the elements of the array that you want actually. So let's say what I'm doing, let's say I'm defining an array. The array is A having a shape of 2, 3, and the elements are 4 to 3 3 4 2. So now if I just do np.delete, okay, and A, that means the original array you have and the elements that you want to delete actually, and then 0, that means the axis. So remember that np.insert, the second argument was what, second argument was for index. So at the 0th index you have to delete the element along which axis, along axis 0. So axis equals to 0 means what, vertically. So if you delete vertically means what, indexing start from here, like this is the 0th index, this is the first index. So you are deleting what, you are deleting elements at the 0th index. So that means 4 2 3 will be deleted and it will be left with 3 4 2. So you can see if I just run that, this is the result, you have 3 4 2. And if I just print that A again, it will be printing the original array. That means it is not in place operation. So similar to np.insert and np.append, it is a not in place operation. So if you want some changes in the original array, what you can do, you can reassign the array, like A equals to, again you can just provide np.delete and then it will be changed. Here what I am doing, I am just printing whatever the result that are coming, I am just printing that, I am not reassigning to that array. If you will just reassign that to array, like let's say what you can do, if you want to reassign the array, you can just simply do, instead of print, what you can do, you can do A equals to this one. So after getting deleted, this is the reassign, so this will make the changes in the original array. So let's say I'm just printing that thing. So now you have seen along x is 0. If I just run that in along x is 1, so you can see x is 1 में कौन सा एलिमेंट डिलीट हो रहा है, दिस वन 4 3, क्योंकि x is 1 इज हॉरिजॉन्टल. सो x is 1 में हॉरिजॉन्टली क्या होगा, ये 0 तो x होगा, ये फर्स्ट एंड देन सेकंड. सो 0 तो आप डिलीट कर दोगे, दैट मीन्स 4 3 विल बी डिलीटेड and you will be left with the elements 2 3 4 2. So that is the element that you are left with. Now if I just print that, you can see if I just print that a again, it will be actually the original array you have. Okay, so it has not changed actually. If you want to make changes, that means you want to make changes in the original array, what you can do, you can just reassign the variable a equals to np.delete, and the same statement here that I have done. And if I just do that thing, and now if I just print a, you can see instead of 4 2 3, it will be having 2 3 4 2. So that means the changes has been done in the original array. So I hope you've got what is np.delete again. But yeah, I'm just showing you this in 2D array only, but 1D is simple actually. So 3D you can just try out. Like I'm not showing the 3D array just because ki bar exists, like it may be confusing to you guys. So first of all, if you are getting a new concept, it should be easy first of all. So you can just try out that by yourself. Like it is easy. I have shown you in the insert how you are inserting in the x 0 1 and 2. The same way it will be happening in delete also. So you can just play with that and you will get that thing. Next was what, np.unique. So simply let's say I'm just defining any array a, and this is a 3D array you have. Now what I'm doing, I'm just applying np.unique a. So in this array I want to know what are the unique elements. So if you just provide that, it will just print the unique elements, nothing else. So it will make an order like from 2 to 19, but all the elements you are seeing it here, all the elements are from here itself. Okay, and all the elements are unique. So that means if you have any repeating elements, you can see 14 is repeating here, but you can see 14 is only one time here. So that means it is just the list of unique elements that it is returning. Now again, if you want to count the unique elements, let's say whatever the unique elements you have, you want the count of that actually, like दो कितने बार आया है, like 14 you can see ना, you want to know that count of 14. So you can see 14 कितने बार आया, like 1 2 3 बार. So if you want the count of each of the elements, what you can do, you can just provide another argument that is called return count equals to true. So by default it is false. If you provide return count equals to true, so what will happen, it will just make a list again and it will print the just count of those elements. So you can see 14 कौन से index पे आ रहा है, like from the last it is at the third, so this is the 3. So that means 14 तीन बार आ रहा है. So you can see 14 का count तीन बार है. Again there is another argument also that is called return index equals to true. So if you do return index equals to true, what will happen, ये count के साथ index भी provide कर देगा, like whatever the index, like whatever the element you have, उसका index क्या है original array में, वो यहाँ पे आपको provide कर देगा एक list में. Let's say 2. So if you see the index of 2 is what, 11. So you can see here, so starting from here you are having how many elements, 9, and then this one 10 11, and then this is the 12th element 2. So that is why it is having 11 as an index. 12th elements was what, starting from 0, it is 11th index. Again for 3, this is the second index. So again it will just provide the list of indexes, and this is the count that has been already you have seen. So that was about some array manipulation. Now we are moving towards some basic operations and functions that are used in array. So let's say आप दो array add करना चाहते हो, subtract, multiplication, whatever the operation that you want to do with arrays, you can do with some of the already existing functions and methods. Let's say dot add, dot subtract. So all of these are actually methods here. So if I just import NumPy library again, let's say I'm creating an array from arrange function, and this is the array you have, 1D array. Now let's say I want to add some constant value to that array. So that means this was the array you have, np.arrange. So that means this is the array, original array you have, and I want to add a constant value 5. So you might be thinking that ये 5 add कहाँ होगा जाके, like it has 3 elements ना, 0 1 2. So एक constant value है, so where it will be getting added. So actually what happens that it is having a single element constant value, but it will be added to each of the elements like 0 1 2. So 0 में 5 ऐड करोगे 5, then 1 में 5 ऐड करोगे 6, then 2 and 5 7. So that is why you are getting 5 6 7. So that means if you provide a single value itself, but it is treated as a 1D array of size 1,3, that means 5 5 5, और वो 5 5 5 जाके हर एक एलिमेंट्स में जाके यहाँ पे ऐड हो जा रहा है वो 0 1 2 में. So how it is working actually, if you want to see that in a picture, you can see this is the original array you have 0 and 2, and you are adding just 5 to that. But ये actually if you are providing a single constant value 5, actually में 5 है, but it is getting treated as a array 1D array of size 1,3. So it has 3 elements 5 5 5, and each of the corresponding element is getting added. So 5 के साथ ये 5 हो रहा है, 0 के साथ ये 5 हो रहा है, 1 के साथ ये 5 हो रहा है, 2 के साथ 1 5 हो रहा है, और ये 5 6 7 you are getting. So if you want to see some of the more examples, you can see if I just add np.ones and np.arrange, this is the result you have. So actually np.ones क्या है, if I just print that, this is the np.ones, and np.arrange क्या है, that you have already seen, but let's say I'm just printing that here to make it more clear. So you can see this is the 0 and 1 and 2 is the elements of np.arrange, and ये क्या हो रहा है, like this is the 1D array, but you are having a 3,3 2D array. Now what, how it is getting added actually, तो ये जाके corresponding रो में ऐड हो जा रहा है. सो इनिशियली आपने जो देखा यहाँ पे वो कांस्टेंट वैल्यू ऐड हो रहा था इन अ सिंगल 1D array, बट नाउ वी आर एडिंग an array to a 2D array. That means a 1D array is getting added to a 2D array. Now how this happens? So if you just look at this picture again, this is the 2D array and this is the 1D array that we are adding. So this is the 2D array, we have 1 1 1 1, all the elements are 1, and we are having a 1D array of having elements 0 1 2. Now if you want to add them, it is not going to be added just for the first row, it is getting added to all the rows. That means it is treated as a again 2D matrix, that means 2D array with the elements repeating. That means जो first array आपने provide किया 1D array 0 1 2 वो repeating हो रहा है और ये same size का बन जा रहा है array that was initially you have, and then the corresponding elements are getting added. So 1 के साथ ये 0, 1 के साथ ये 1, 1 के साथ ये 2, again the corresponding element. That means यहाँ पे जो index पे जो भी element है that will be added to the same index element in this array. So that is the result you are getting. So that is why you can see 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 that you are getting. That means this is the result we have. Now what if you say that I am not providing a 1D array, जो भी array का shape है 2D का, I am providing the same shape. So what will happen? अगर same shape है, so exactly the corresponding elements will be getting added. For like for example you can see here the shape of the array that A and B are same 2 4. So this is the first array A and this is the second array B. The corresponding element will be getting added. So if we just use np.add A comma B, what will be the result? Like okay, I've not defined that one. Now I can define this one. Cool. So you can see 5 is getting added to 5, this 2 is getting added to 2, this 4 is getting added to 1, this 4 is getting added to 9. So corresponding element are getting added, and this is the result that you are getting. Now you have seen two cases. First ये आपने 1D array provide किया 2D array पे, then second is the same array 2D array आपने provide किया but with the same shape. Now the third comes the situation where you are not providing the same shape. That means वो भी 2D array है, let's say 2 4, और आपने second array define किया B, that is again a 2D array but with the size of 4 4, that means not the same one. And if you add both of them A and B, now what will be the result? That will give an error. Why? Operands could not be broadcast together with the shapes 2 4 and 4 4. Why it is not happening? Because if you just add like you can see this is the array that you are adding to this array. Now why it is not getting added? Because आप जो array add कर रहे हो that is having bigger size as compared to the initial one जिसमें आपको add करना है. So how it will be getting added? Corresponding element तो मिलेगा ही नहीं, like it is having extra element, so it cannot be happen. That means you cannot add two different 2D array with different shapes using dot np dot add. So that means using dot add, you cannot do that thing. Now let's see how we can multiply two arrays. So if you have two array, let's say 3 comma 4, size of the first array and the second array is same. So this is the array you have, this one and this one. If you just do np dot multiply a comma b, what will happen? The corresponding element will be multiplied. So if I just print that, you can see 5 is getting multiplied with 2, 5 is again 1, and this 3 with 3. So the way summation was happening, like using dot add, the way you are adding the elements, corresponding elements, in the similar fashion you can just multiply the elements using dot multiply. So again same thing happen as the add works, dot add, the shape should be exactly same, or if you are having two different 2D arrays, the shape should be exactly same. If let's say you are having two different 2D array and the shape are not same, let's say 3 comma 4 and 2 comma 4, if I just multiply them, it will give an error that it cannot be broadcasted together. That means it is not getting matched, like elements are got not, corresponding elements are not having values, so that is why it is not multiplying it. But you need to remember one thing, that this multiply is not the actual matrix multiplication. Like matrix multiplication is a different thing, but this is the simple multiplication. इसमें सिर्फ corresponding element multiply हो रहा है, so ये matrix multiplication से different है. So if you want to know how matrix multiplication is getting done, that is totally different thing. Like it has to be matched, like जो भी आपका shape है initial array का, let's say 3 comma 4, and जो multiply कर रहे हो let's say 4 comma 2, so first array का जो column है that should match with the row of second array. So that means you can see for the second array you are having 4 rows, and for the first array you are having 4 columns, so that is getting matched. और जो मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन का नया शेप आएगा दैट विल बी व्हाट एक्चुअली 3 comma 2. सो ये 4 4 कैंसिल हो जाता है, द रिजल्टेंट विल बी हैविंग अ शेप ऑफ 3 comma 2. एंड वो मल्टीप्लिकेशन कैसे होता है, दैट इज़ अ डिफरेंट थिंग दैट आई विल बी शोइंग यू later, but not at this point of time because I'm running out of time. So maybe in further sessions I'll be showing you कि matrix multiplication actually होता क्या है. But I know that a lot of you guys know already that how matrix multiplication is getting done. But even if you don't know, don't worry, I'll be showing you exactly how that is getting done. So even if you don't know, don't worry, I'll be showing you how it is getting done. So matrix multiplication के लिए syntax क्या है, np.matmul. So matmul, that is the matmul, that is just a short form of matrix multiplication, and a comma b. So if you just do that, you can see this is the multiplication of the matrix that you are getting, and the shape is what, 3 rows and 2 columns. So that is why I was telling you 3 comma 2. Now how we can divide two arrays, the similar way np.divide you can use. And how it is getting divided, the same fashion as you are doing np.add, np.multiply, corresponding element जो भी होगा वो divide हो जाएगा. Like 5 will be divided with 4, and if you see this element 1 will be divided with 3, and if you take the element 4, corresponding element क्या है 2, so it will be divided with 2. So if I just run that and print that, you can see this is the result that you are getting. Again this is the simple division you have of matrix, but actual में like inverse of a matrix is a different thing. Like 1 divided by the matrix itself, that is called actually inverse of a matrix. और वो actually कैसे होता है, that is different thing that I'll be again showing you in a future session. But for now just see how we can use np.divide. Now we are moving towards the last of this session, and actually last to the NumPy libraries. So this is actually some of the aggregate function that we use. So like dot max, dot mean, dot sum, so these are actually called aggregate functions. That means taking many elements, it just extract a single value. So dot max is actually what, it will take the all the array and it will just extract the maximum element. Similarly mean क्या है, mean में भी आपको just जो भी 2D array है और 3D array, whatever the array that you provide, उसमें से minimum value जो है that element it will extract. Again dot sum is actually what, it will just sum up all the elements. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 जो भी element है सबको add करके it will just give the result. Again if you don't provide any arguments there, it will just take all the array and it will find the max, mean and sum for all the arrays. But if you provide some of the x's, let's say you are providing x is equals to 0, so that means what, x is 0, as you already know that for 2D matrix this is the x is 0 now. So in this axis you want to get the maximum element. So for this axis actually you will get the maximum value. Now you are having how many axes you have? Two axes na, like this one and this one. So for this one maximum value is 5, for this one the maximum value is 6. So that is why you can see this is the maximum value and this is the maximum. So you will get 5 and 6 as the maximum value. Again, if you provide axis equals to 1, so a maximum value is here 2, then 5, then 6. So this is the value that you are getting. So let's quickly look at some of the examples. So I'm just defining an array A and shape is 2, 4. The elements are between 5 and 10. Now what I'm doing, just summing the elements for just all the array, then along axis 1, axis 0. So all of these things I'm just printing. You can see one by one. So first of all, it is just summing all the elements. Summing all the elements, what you will get? 58. Now along the axis 0. So axis 0 is what? Axis 0 is this one. So it will just add 5 and 7, then 5, 9, then 9, 6 and 8, 9. So this is the result that you are getting. Now axis 1 means what? Along this axis. So along this axis it will add these elements, this one, and then these elements. So this is the result that you are getting. So आप जो भी एक्सेस प्रोवाइड करोगे along with that it will just sum up, or if you are finding max value or min value, whatever you are finding, all of these things will be printed. So again, if I just print minimum value, 5 is the minimum value you are having, you can see, and along the axis equals to 1. So along the axis equals to 1, this is the axis 1. So 5 is the minimum element again, and here 6 is the minimum element. So you can see you are getting 5 and 6. Next you can use sort method. So using sort method, what you can do, you can just sort the arrays in ascending or descending order. So if you just provide np.sort and the array, it will just sort the elements. So you can see if you don't provide any axis, by default it take axis equals to 1, and if you don't provide any axis, by default it take axis equals to 1. So you can see axis 1 डालो या नहीं डालो, the results are same. And how it is getting in ascending order. So axis 1 means in this direction, so it is taking 5, 5, then 8, 9, and for here it is taking 6, 7, and then 9, 9. So you can see this is in ascending order. If you provide axis equals to 0, so it will take that in ascending order in this way. So 5, 7, then 5, 9. So instead of 9, 6, it will be 6, 9, and this is again 8, 9 already in ascending order. So you can see 5, 6, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 9, 9. Now what if you want to do in descending order? If you want to order that in descending order, then you need to provide that minus np.sort and again minus a. So that means whatever the original array you have to provide a negative sign before that, and in np.sort method also you have to provide a negative sign, that it will just run that into a descending order. So that's it guys, we have seen now numpy array, and I think कि कोई भी आपका like anything I have not left, सारी चीज़ कवर हो गई हैं numpy array में, and this is just a basic thing that is required in numpy. So while you will be learning some of the machine learning models, so there we will be actually looking at how numpy arrays are used there. So in that scenario you will be not having any problem if these basics are clear to you. So make sure you clear out all the things, whatever the doubts that are coming, make sure you ask in the comment box or in the WhatsApp community. Check out the description for more. And yes, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट सेशन में. टिल देन टेक केयर, गुड बाय.